You've just entered the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. If you've come for actual legal advice, you need to turn right around, honey. You need to get out of here, 'cause you ain't gonna get none of that. They quibble, and they squabble, and they bicker. But if you want to hear meaningless opinions, this is the right place. They got plenty of that. Stuff that makes no sense at all. They go off on tangents. It's crazy talk. If that's your thing, keep listening. They'll keep talking.
Oh no, no, it's another episode of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. You've entered the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. Yay!
Welcome to another episode of the Law Offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. We have an exciting guest for you guys today. Her name is Wendy Stuart Kaplan, or do you prefer Wendy Stuart or Wendy Kaplan? Or
Well, it's all good.
It's all good. So
Yeah.
You can lump it all as one word if you want, everybody, Wendy Stuart Kaplan, and then just pronounce it that way and you'll all be good. But she is an author. She is a documentary producer and director. She has her own podcast. She has her own cooking show, and she's kind of all over the map, and she's going to be helping us later on with our client, which is dress sizes and body hair. So we'll deal with that later on. But Wendy Stuart, please tell everybody something about how you wound up here.
It was the gods, they were shining down on me today. I must have done something right. The universe spoke, and here I am with all of you. I'm very, very happy to be here today. I love that we're from all over the country, and you guys know I'm New York City girl, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But today, just because you all have facial hair, I am broadcasting from Pennsylvania. That's right. I'm in Pennsyltucky today.
Pennsyltucky. Excellent.
Pennsyltucky. I come here on the weekends, and lots of guys I know have beards, and they live the good Pennsyltucky life. So really, really happy to be here today, and thank you for having me.
We have a town across the water from Portland, Oregon called Vancouver, and it's often referred to as Vantucky.
I love it. What do they call it?
They call it Vantucky.
Do they really?
They don't. Portlanders call Vantucky. In Vancouver, I think they just call it Vancouver.
And you know what? Assholes, mostly, I think.
Yeah. They call us Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what they call Portland.
They're not far off.
Are you Sodom or Gomorrah, Greg? Which one are you?
A little bit of both.
Okay, that's good.
I think
bit Sodom, a little bit Gomorrah, a little bit rock and roll, a little bit country.
Yes.
Speaking of rock and roll, there's something I want to delve into a little bit. Back in the day, you were a regular at Studio 54 in New York City, which is known as the beginning of Sodom and Gomorrah of the United States.
Yeah, no, that's, what? You are so spot on there, and I'll tell you why. Lately, because on Netflix, there is the movie Halston. I think it's like 5 episodes about Halston. They do all these scenes in Studio 54. And if you haven't seen it, you got to watch it, because that's what the decadence that they show in this film takes place during the Studio 54 days. And I was one of the original Studio 54 girls. I was graduated from college, and the place to be was to come down to New York and attempt to get into that club. And you know what? I tried 3 times, and on time number 3, I got in, because it wouldn't just, you had to have a certain look or be a celebrity or a socialite or just be fabulous. And no one was going to let in a girl with waist length, blonde hair, and a polyester dress and open-toed shoes in January. Not happening. So you know what? I, beefed up my look. I started dressing like I was in the ballet. No kidding. Like tutus and leg warmers and ballet slippers. You're laughing, wow. But I really did that. And that's how I initially got in, and then became part of going there. I was there every Thursday night and every Sunday night.
So once you got in, they recognized you and they always let you in after that? Or is it just because you weren't wearing open-toed shoes anymore?
Right, because I was like, I got it together. It took 3 tries, but I got it together. And going in, the beauty of Studio 54. How much do you all know about Studio 54?
Well, wasn't it like a veterinarian clinic?
Oh, Jesus, I'm jumping through the screen and slapping you.
Most people
we want to do that a
eventually
lot
get that way.
So Studio 54, the beauty of it. Are you lighting up a joint while I'm talking? What the hell is going on?
No, he just smokes cigarettes.
He
allows us all to watch him die slowly.
such a chain smoker. But the beauty of Studio 54 was it took like just ordinary people, right? Like all of us, right? We're all ordinary people.
Quite.
And then we would be allowed in and you could mix with anyone. Okay. So the biggest celebrities, Liza Minnelli, Halston, Andy Warhol. And one of my favorite Studio 54 stories to tell was one night I was there with a bunch of my friends and they brought out this singer who I had seen in some other clubs. And I knew her from a club called Danceteria. And she was going out with the DJ in Danceteria because he would play her records over and over, and he was climbing and she was climbing too. So she gets this little break and she's performing at Studio 54, and I'm up in the balcony with all my friends and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it's her again. And she gets on stage and she starts singing this song that I thought was the tiredest thing in the world, because you know what? I am not a pop princess. You know, I really appreciate good rock music. And at the time she was not doing that. So the pop princess gets up there and she does her song, which was Borderline. And the pop princess was Madonna. All right. Wow. And I remember turning to my friends and saying, oh my God, she's so tired. Well,
tired.
Right. So you know what? I guess I'm not a good judge. Don't ask me to judge anything.
Well, you know what? I'm going to totally be on your side with this one, because when Madonna came out, I was like, oh, she's a flash in the pan. She's going to have like one or two hits and be gone. You know, and obviously I was completely wrong.
Well, her original music was just nothing to write home about. But you know what? This is something that's true for many performers and singers. She eventually, through persistence, put the right people around her. And she did a major breakthrough with the Ray of Light album. It was like nothing she had ever done before. She totally changed her sound, changed her persona, and the rest is history. I mean, she took off like gangbusters. And to this day, I love telling people the story about how wrong I was, because she is amazing. She has survived decades, you know?
Yeah, I mean, once she put on the gorilla suit, everything changed for her. Not too many people are familiar with the gorilla suit era of Madonna.
I don't know about the gorilla suit era. Can you enlighten me right here today?
I just made it up. Anyway.
There you go. I nailed you.
It doesn't take much, really. It's like a slight cross-examination and I'm done. I have nothing to back up. And
was that on the album You Drive Me Ape?
Really good comeback, Greg.
It's like no monkeying around, Greg.
Let's give out points every time someone has a good comeback. I like that. And whoever has the most points at the end of the show will win something.
Actually, when they make dumb jokes, I drink. So that you know. So by the end of the show, I'm practically unconscious.
And we have evidence of that actually in numerous
episodes.
It's called a penalty
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was we had an author on who had the same name as you. Her name's Wendy Koch, and a few
Wendy
episodes. Koch is her K-O-K.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what she said.
Different part of the club life.
Anyway. Yeah, right. I was going to say, right?
But what happened was they decided to start this drinking game that whenever I told one of my jokes, they would drink, and then it's become kind of a theme now, and it's probably useful for anybody out there who is drinking because they happen. I can't really control them. But you had mentioned Andy Warhol, and I know you have an interesting story regarding Andy Warhol.
I have a great story with Andy Warhol. So one night I was there and somebody from his group came over and said, Andy wants to meet you. So they had like these little VIP lounge off to the side, and they took the rope down. That was roped off, you know. You could all meet on the dance floor and in other parts of the club, but the special VIPs had a little section. So I go to the VIP section, and he said, I've been watching you here. You come and dance. Because there was an article written on me in one of the well-known publications in the day. And the article was called She Dances Alone. I would close down Studio 54 on the nights I was there, dancing to The State of Independence by Donna Summer on the dance floor, all by myself at 4:30 in the morning. You know, so I kind of got known by that. Often swinging a rubber rat above my head, who was named Igor. I knew I got you with the rubber rat. You know what? Here's what you're going to love about the rubber rat. He smoked. You know, you could squeeze him, and if he had a lit cigarette in his mouth, you could make it puff.
You know, Greg, we're just going to call you Igor from now on.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
So I think Greg's
and we're going to squeeze you and watch you puff.
So Andy calls me over, and he starts talking to me. He said, I think you're really incredible. I'd love to put you in my next film. Okay. So I'm like 21 years old. I'm like so excited. He said, Joe D'Alessandro's going to be in it. Ultraviolet's going to be in it. I'm like, just imagine myself, a girl from the Bronx, hobnobbing with Ultraviolet and Joe D'Alessandro. And then I look at him and I said, oh my God, Andy, that's so great. How much is it going to pay? And he looked at me and he said, well, it's not paying anything, but I'll give you a painting. Now, you know how dumb ass you are when you're 21? I looked at him and I said, oh no, I have bills to pay. I couldn't possibly see it.
Your Warhol paintings will be worth nothing in the future.
Right. So that's that story. So I never did the film.
Andy Warhol.
And yeah, and the struggle continued on. The struggle was very real.
Can you reach his estate and say, you guys owe me a painting?
Right. It's like you
Sure.
owe a painting. It's all in my book. She's the Last Model Standing, which you can get on Amazon. This book is very much a metaphor because it's about my time modeling, which I'm still doing.
So it's not really a book. It's actually just a metaphor.
It's not, well, it is. The stories in it really are, because Last Model Standing, what does that mean? What it means is, yes, I'm still modeling, but it really means, yes, I'm still here. You know how many people have come and gone and faded from the limelight or died? I'm still here. I am the last model standing, like the last comic standing, like the last blah, blah, blah standing.
You were the last dancer dancing at Studio 54 every night.
No, I was, one of the last dancers there. I hung out till the end, and then you guys all know the story. You know, they cracked down. Owners ended up in jail. It was a big mess. I highly encourage you, though, to watch the Halston movie on Netflix. 5 episodes. You won't be disappointed, and you'll really get the feeling of everything I'm talking about.
My wife's been watching that, actually. So,
did you see the 54 movie? The movie they made.
Yes, I did. I know all about the Studio 54 movie.
Was it realistic? Did you think they captured the spirit of it?
So here's what happened. The guy who directed it, I actually ended up doing an interview with him here in Pennsylvania. We had a film festival and it screened here. But the copy that we had that screened here was his copy. It was called the director's cut. The one that you saw, the Studio 54, the movie, they chopped out all the really juicy stuff, all the stuff that he wanted in there. And he was very upset because the film really wasn't the film he shot. I mean, we all know that this kind of stuff happens. But when he screened it here, it had all those juicy parts in it. And yeah, the way they showed you the candy dishes filled with cocaine, people having sex everywhere, that all really, really did happen. So that was the real Studio 54. You know what? You probably can Google Studio 54 director's cut and probably pull that up and get it if you want to see how it really was.
So how did you get from Studio 54 dance girl to learning voodoo in Nigeria?
So I started out with voodoo in Nigeria. My God, I can't believe you can't figure that out there.
You're looking for like new dress designs or something, or what?
Yeah, I thought you were better than that.
No, never have high expectations of me.
What a question. I started out with voodoo in Nigeria. I had always been fascinated by alternate cultures and traditional beliefs. And from the time I was a little kid, it always fascinated me. So I kept wanting to go to Africa from the time I was 5 years old. I kept telling my mother I was going to go there and live with the people. And you know what? It was almost like a premonition, because when I was 20, I was majoring in anthropology and archaeology at my university. And I was applying to programs in Israel and Egypt for the summer. And I wasn't the best student. And everyone said to me, you're not going to get in there. My boyfriend at the time was a filmmaker. And he says, hey, man, he smoked a lot of pot at the time. He says, I have the coolest idea. He said, let's apply to the Black Studies Department. They're running a program in Africa. I'm like, but we're not in the Black Studies Department. And he said, exactly. We have a really good shot at getting in. And we did. And we were sent. It was
stoner logic.
It was stoner logic. And I'm telling you, you know what it is? It's thinking out of the box, which I've done my entire life. And I found myself.
Which is stoner logic, actually.
It is stoner logic. There we were.
Outside the box. They don't live in a box.
Thinking out of the bag.
Stoner bag. But I got to tell you, the joints in Nigeria, we couldn't get rolling paper. We would roll it in notebook paper. and then
Ugh.
light that up.
Oh.
Enormous.
Oh
Like
my
a
God.
cigar with the most amazing
hard.
job that you've ever seen. But yeah, so I was so lucky to not only get in that program, my best friend that I met at the university there, his grandfather was the local doctor, traditional doctor of Oyo State, which meant he was majorly connected. And that gave me entree to all kinds of festivals. And these festivals were really for Nigerian people, for the Yoruba people. But I, as an outsider, I was allowed in and I was accepted, which was so amazing. And I saw really incredible stuff to this day that you can't explain. When someone would become possessed, like by Shango, the god of thunder, they would put hot coals in their mouth to show how fierce he was, walk on coal, and they would show you their tongue and it was never blistered, neither were their feet. So those are the things. I love talking about that because people say to me, oh, come on, you're exaggerating. Not exaggerating, really, really happened.
Shango is Greg's stage name, actually.
Get out.
No.
I'm Ganesh. That's my stage name.
You're good.
I know all about Ganesh too from India.
Yeah,
And
he's
they
my
film there
spirit
as
god.
well. So
He's like
yeah,
a
so that's
owner.
how I ended up going to Nigeria, and then fast forward to like 6 years ago, making a film in Ethiopia called Fragile Beauty, again about the tribal people there and their traditional beliefs. And then I went to Cameroon and did a film about gorilla and chimpanzee rescue in Cameroon. So my thing is culture and wildlife. And I'm blessed that my husband's an amazing cinematographer, and we have combined our talents together to make these films that we think they're meaningful to us, right? You're only going through this earth once. You might as well make a mark and talk about things that are meaningful to you and get out there and do them. We all have that power within us.
So
How can we find these films?
It was Madonna that inspired you to do the movie about the gorillas and the chimpanzees, right?
You know what? Let's talk about inspiration. You
Okay.
have to look at Madonna and say she's inspiring no matter what. And when I hear people putting her down now that she's fake or she had too much plastic surgery or this or that, I'm like, excuse me, that woman is in her 60s and turned it out like nobody else.
Madonna, all of the pop stars of today could just go hang it up. Madonna
Thank
is
you.
the GOAT. She is the greatest of all time.
I love
Take
that you said
Britney.
that.
Yeah, all those girls. They're shadows of what she was.
Shadows.
No reflections.
Yep. He said it.
So all of you pop princesses out there watching us, and we know there
Give
aren't
up.
any. We know there aren't any watching us, so feel
No.
offended.
No, I mean, Madonna's demographic is really the show's demographic, which is why I was saying that.
Oh, that's a good point, Greg. Yes.
Oh, wait.
Wendy is our demographic.
Tell me
Yes.
wait, I'm going to ask you a question now because I'm really curious. What is your demographic? I want to hear the description.
Go for it, Brendan.
Women, believe it or not, by large margins between the ages of, 45 to 65?
Yeah, but 40 to 60, something.
40 to
somewhere around
60, I
that.
forget.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that
That's
range.
the higher percentage of listeners that we have.
Higher,
I
like
love that.
Like 75%.
75%.
75%. So what do you think it is? You think it's your facial hair?
I think it's
Yes.
all of Greg's relations is what I think it is.
Yeah, it's all
of
my
his-
ex-girlfriends watch the show. Or
And
listen
they
to
tell
the
their
show.
friends and she tells her friend and so on and so on, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, with the exception. Actually, does your brother listen, Greg?
No.
Okay, because I was thinking he might
Yeah.
count because he's gay. So
But he's not part of the demographic of women. So there you go.
no, that's
A lot of
true.
the feedback we get, though, is they mention my raw charisma a lot. I guess that's a factor.
It
Raw.
exudes from you.
Yeah,
Oh,
raw.
for sure.
Very raw.
It's like he's like
Like
an uncut piece of sugar cane.
I
I
was
was
going
gonna
to say uncut, but I wasn't going to say sugar cane. Oh my
Yeah.
God, right off the topic. This happens with me a lot. So you can reel me in whenever you need to and take me down
No.
any
Oh,
path you want to
There
go down.
is no need to reel.
That's what our
anybody
show
in here.
is.
The show is off topic. The whole
Yeah.
goddamn thing
The
is
whole
off
thing
topic.
is-
Basically,
off topic,
yeah,
right.
exactly. So you went from Nigeria to Studio 54. So I had it
Yep.
flipped
Yeah,
around.
Nigeria, the Studio 54, started modeling, then started getting acting work. And, the rest is history. Did you get a chance to look at my book at all?
I looked in. I got some excerpts, and I saw a video of you reading excerpts from it.
Oh, cool. Oh, my
Yeah.
God. I'm in press. Thank you so much. Oh, aren't you sweet? So
I just want to pinch his cheek. Like, oh, you're so
The
cute.
thing is, there's nobody cuter
on
than
his
Greg.
beard a little bit. Thank you. But the book is about all the things that happened to me while I was acting and modeling in New York, because when you're in your 20s, everything happens to you. You're green.
Well, you were like a
essentially.
specific kind of model. You're a fit
Well,
model, which I
ended
wasn't
up-
familiar with before.
So
Yeah.
let me talk about that, and that's in the book. So I started out doing like print jobs and things like that, but you know what? I was never right enough, right? I had every crummy job in modeling you could imagine, like handing out flyers for a chicken restaurant in a chicken suit. People would go by, I was in the street, they'd go by and say, nice breasts.
Is that considered a modeling job
There it is. That's promotional modeling.
when you're in a chicken suit?
And a chicken suit. I
Okay.
sprayed perfume on people. That was considered modeling. And the department store for Chloe until one Christmas, this left me damaged. I was like, everyone ignored me. And I was like, would you like a spray of Chloe? Would you like a spray of Chloe? And this wonderful looking guy comes up in this suit and tie, and he smiles at me. He said, you're beautiful. I would love a spray of Chloe. I'm like, great. And I take the top off and I go like this. He looks at me. He gets the spray and then he goes around to my counter and he pees all over the floor.
What?
Talk about spray.
What?
I didn't see that one coming.
I don't think
Wow.
you wanted to see it coming.
Oh my God,
Did Chloe make people want to pee or something? Was there
It
something
made
in
him
it?
want to pee. I think it's a very sweet floral fragrance. I loved it, but obviously, anyway, I left that job that day. It was just
Yeah.
it was a bit much.
That
From
would
which
be,
I never
that would be the
recovered.
point to go.
Yeah,
It
that's
was-
a like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they couldn't
it-
fault you for leaving when somebody pees on
Yeah.
the floor in front of
Yeah,
you.
it was Bloomingdale's, and I remember somebody yelling out, "Security! There's a man peeing at the Chloe counter." Oh my God! Please, time to go. Get on your pony and ride out. But what my book talks about are all those early jobs that I had, and then the jobs started to get better, and I started to get in beauty pageants. I did not do one legitimate beauty pageant. I kid you not. I went to Caracas, Venezuela, as Miss Switzerland. I don't have one drop of Swiss blood in me. This guy named this is in the book. For today, I'll make his name Andre Santiago because I don't want to give his real name. But
Okay.
he put together this fake beauty pageant, and he came to the model agency I was with, and we all got called in on what they call a go-see. That means you're going to go and see if they're going to hire you. And he talked about the beauty pageant, and then he gave every person a different country they were going to be from. I'm like, this is freaking unreal.
That's hilarious.
It's hilarious. He gets to me and he's like, you'll be Miss Switzerland. I said, but I don't have any Swiss blood in me. He said, don't even worry about it. He said, we're going to write a whole bio for you that your parents were doctors in Geneva.
In a dairy farm. And made
And he
chocolates.
said, the whole pageant was in Spanish anyway. He said, you'll be speaking English. Don't worry about a thing. And I thought to myself, okay, this is like, I don't know, maybe we're all going to be kidnapped and sold when we get to
possible.
Caracas, Venezuela. I was not prepared for the fact that not only was this very legitimate, we were given sashes. Mine said Miss Suiza on it. That's Spanish for Switzerland. My sash said Miss Switzerland on it. And we were interviewed by the press constantly. We did fashion shows. And then the big night was going to come where we were going to be televised. Even that I couldn't wrap my head around. I thought, okay, it's got to be like some dinky station. This is how we are often as Americans. We think everything is so big and grand here. Well, let me tell you, it was big and grand there because I got to Caracas, Venezuela, and the week before it's going to be televised, they told us we had to meet our host. And this is another incredible story. So we're staying at the gorgeous Tamanaco Hotel. We're all there in our matching two-piece eensy-weensy black bikinis. And they bring out this very handsome guy, gorgeous Latino, beautiful white teeth, perpetually tan, thick black hair, as lovely as could be. And we were all introduced to Julio and Glazes, who nobody had ever heard of at that point. It was the year before Julio Iglesias crossed over and, of course, brought his career
Was
here.
this about what,
And the rest-
1982 or 81?
Yeah,
or
see,
so?
you know who it is. Everyone
Yeah.
knows his son, Enrico Iglesias. But this was Julio. And yes, he had an amazing crossover career, but we had no idea who he was. And there we were. And then a week later, we were all on television with him, with like, it was a huge extravaganza with dancers. And it was unbelievable. It was like the Academy Awards. I had no idea. And I walked out there, you know, they do like the little interview, and I was going to have to answer in English. And I will never forget this, you guys, as long as I live. I heard the audience going, Suiza, 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 Suiza. It was just, I'm never going to experience that again in my entire life. The whole thing was rigged.
No, your mother is a known pageant, at least finalist. It's coming up fifth in the
did
Miss
your homework.
America.
My mother was fifth runner-up in the Miss America pageant.
Did she feel that she come after you for being such a fraud?
No, at the time she kept comparing it because she was in a legitimate pageant. Although if you know the whole story with my mother, fifth runner-up in the Miss America pageant, Miss Connecticut, 1935. My mother told the story of why she was fifth runner-up. The girl who ended up winning was sleeping with the judge, and I grew up with that story from an early age. So there's a lot to be said about beauty pageants. But yeah, this one I was in was really hokey, only to be followed up by another one, a Mrs. USA pageant, X amount of years later, where I was flown to South Padre Island representing New York. That one was totally fixed as well. And
I heard that the Union of Swiss Watchmakers were coming after you to get their cash back.
No, it's really the Timex people. They're like, she's a fraud. There's nothing real about this girl at all.
You're part of the modeling. Oh, sorry, Brendan. Go ahead, man.
Yeah.
What percentage of the total girls were fraudulent? All of them?
They were
80?
all, so from the Miss Bikini pageant and the Mrs. USA pageant, that was fraud. The girls were brought in from all over the country for Mrs. USA, but we knew ahead of time who was going to win. It had just been set up that way. So I knew I didn't have a chance of winning that pageant. But you know what? Who's going to turn down all expenses paid? They sent my husband there with me. We went out on party boats. Oh, that was a trip. They took us into, we were in Corpus Christi. We went out into international waters on a party boat, right? Where they were supposed to be taking pictures of all of us. And this is in my book too. Everybody got deathly ill. They were hurling over the side balconies with their pageant sashes on.
I said something to wipe their faces with.
You're right. There you go. You know what? You are so sensible. I knew that from the moment I laid eyes on you, that you were sensible. But yeah, it was both of these pageants that I was in were fraudulent, but look at the fun I had. Look at the stories I can tell. No, there were no bad parts, you know, and to be flown and put up in beautiful hotels. And, you know, I love being on a runway and lying. What could be better?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I was just wondering, like, if, like, at least, like, the Venezuela girl was, like, actually a local girl. Or
she was. The girl
Okay.
who won was from, not Venezuela. What's that other country that's
Brazil?
No, keep going. There's a bunch
Chile?
of
Germany,
no,
Laos,
it's South America.
Myanmar,
Argentina.
Siberia.
Argentina, okay.
Argent. That was another thing. From
Middle
the
Earth?
moment I laid eyes on her, I knew she was the winner because she had been in the Miss World pageant. You know, she had actually been in a legitimate pageant, and they
Right.
probably paid her X amount of dollars, you know, to come down and do this pageant. She was absolutely gorgeous, by
And
the
she
way.
was Julio Iglesias' first wife, probably.
I didn't find out if she was connected to him, but you know what? There you go. My God. Isn't there a story under every rock? You know, it never ceases to amaze me. You just lift it up and the stories are underneath there. Yeah, so
Stories, bugs, whatever.
but bugs, yeah,
Worms.
lichen. Oh my God, I love lichen, right? Lichen are
Lichen.
Wow,
Yeah.
this is
We got
the
a lot
second
of
time
lichen.
It's the second time Lichen has showed up on one of our shows. This is quite fascinating.
Yeah, well, I
It
mean,
does show
it's,
that we are not Rolling Stones.
no.
But you had a real lichen even if you weren't a Rolling Stone. But you asked me about the kind of modeling that I have become well known for, and that's called fit modeling. Now, of the three of you, do any of you have any idea what that is?
Well, I have an idea because I looked into it, but it's essentially you are the perfect size for a dress manufacturer or something like that, and so they
The perfect size.
base all of their clothing on your figure.
God damn, you are a great PR person. I'm gonna hire you. No, I'm just kidding. I have great PR people, but yes, you did your homework.
And I've been retired from PR for 20 years. So
have you really? But you,
well, no,
no,
I
you
did it
really
for 20.
did your homework, because nobody knows what it is, and it's called fit modeling because I fit the clothes. And I got to tell you something. It's really not modeling. It really isn't. I'm working with designers and pattern makers, helping them come up with measurements to make their clothes fit. So I really have to understand how fabric drapes, how, what measurements to make things, so that when the average person, and when I say average, I will just say like the JCPenney customer, she goes into the store, it's a pretty garment, she takes it off the hanger, she puts it on, she wants to look good. And that's my job, to make it fit her. And there's things that you really have to know in order to do that. You have to understand about fabric or knit or any of that. I've been doing it a long time. So yeah, I do understand that. I also understand what women want. Okay. Let me tell you what's challenging about this pandemic. I had a client say to me a couple of months ago, why aren't my dresses selling? And I had to turn to him and say, because everybody's home. Is anyone's wife?
No one's going out to dress.
Are you getting up and putting on a frock to go to the office? No, you are not. Okay. But you might put on your really great Lululemon activewear, really nice fitting leggings and beautiful casual stuff that makes you feel good, because the truth of the matter is it really doesn't matter what you look like anymore, because nobody was seeing you.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect transition actually to our client for today. Our client is dress sizes and body hair. And I would actually like one particular definition right off the bat. What the hell is a frock?
A frock? It's a frock. It's a dress.
It's a frock is a frock, damn it.
It's a frock. It's just a dress. It's not a sexy dress or a, it's just a dress.
Are you a frockin' idiot?
It's a dress.
Yeah, he's a frockin' retard is what he is.
There's Brendan's in Florida. That's how he talks that way. But somebody here, I think it was Brendan, he has the question regarding dress sizes, which is how we found our client, was because he was sorting this out. And so, Brendan, why don't you go ahead and get that question answered?
So my question is this. Boys' clothes are simple. Waist, inseam, chest, neck. I mean, they're specific measurements. Girls, because I have two daughters, girls have an 8 or a 12 or a 10. And one 10 is not the same as another 10, depending upon the manufacturer. What insane evil monster came up with all of this, and why?
Well, first of all, I am impressed with what you know. Most men do not know what you know, but you have two daughters, so you pay attention. The reason they came up with this is manufacturers want to make their clothing sell, right? So if they have a standard for what a size 8 is or what a size 10 is, certain measurements. Like, let's say your daughter is 34, 26, 36. She's going to get with a label that she knows is going to fit her every time. Right. So, we don't want to be all over the place. Who the hell has time to shop? Right. So, and with those of us ordering things online, you want to know, and they give you the measurements. You want to know you're going to put that thing on and that it's going to fit. So it was a very smart idea that they came up with the idea of certain measurements, right, for a size 8. However, so now here's another thing you said. You are so smart. I am just so impressed, Mr. Beastie Boy. How did you get so smart? And in Florida, no less. Obviously, the sun has not baked your head yet.
He's the smartest guy in Florida, that's for sure.
Yeah, I am.
It's like Einstein down there.
It's idiocracy. I am the smartest
He's like
guy
Miss
here.
Venezuela. So
yeah, exactly.
So what happens is there's some size 10s that really have the same measurements as size 8s, but it really gives the consumer, the woman who's going shopping, she knows she can go to Ralph Lauren and get something, Calvin Klein and get something. You start to know how manufacturers make clothing for your body and what's going to look good. Like, I know Gap jeans for me, believe it or not, are not great. They don't look good on me. I'm very curvy. That's another thing that's different from women's to men's. Women are curvy. So you don't want to.
I've noticed that. I have
I'm
noticed
so
that.
happy. Even all this time in the sun has not affected that in you.
Nope.
Thank God. So
Thank
you
God.
notice women are curvy and they want a jean that's going to flatter them. And everyone curves slightly different. So we all have different manufacturers we get jeans from. Believe it or not, I love H&M's jeans. H&M makes the most fabulous fitting jeans. However,
Wait, you say believe it or not, like we would have a clue of what you're talking about.
H&M.
I know H&M.
It's like her and monkey. What? I don't know what H&M.
How can you not know H&M? What rock have you been under with the
Do you
light?
see the fashion sense I'm wearing today?
Yep,
It's
Matt,
called
you
black
just burst my
t-shirt.
bubble. I had so much more faith in you. And let's talk about
That's what I'm all about like busting people's conceptions of me. Then
that
realizing
ill-fitting
that
t-shirt that you're wearing today.
exactly.
You have redefined frock with that thing that you have on.
I frocked up. I'm sorry.
You frocked up today.
You frocked up for sure.
But even you guys, even with men's clothes, they use fit models as well. They fit on guys that are 40 regulars, so that when you put it on, it's somewhat got to fit. Now, a t-shirt like what you have, you like your Beastie Boy t-shirt that you're wearing there, that's pretty comfortable. You like it, right? You
Oh
got
yeah, of course.
good movement in it. You know, the neck is comfortable. You wouldn't want it high up. When you put it on, you want it to go over your head. Right.
Sure.
Even with the headphones on. Those are all things that you might want to look for. But I know that you bought that shirt because it has the Beastie Boys on it. And
Well,
that tells me everything about you.
Everything.
Everything.
What about his hat, though? What's that thing on his hat?
Okay, let me see his hat. I can't see his hat.
Is that an octopus or a squid? What the hell is
What
that?
the hell is that on there? Is this
It's a squid.
Okay.
It's actually it's a kraken if you wanted to be, technically
Oh,
accurate.
it's a kraken.
It's a kraken.
it's a
Kraken has
Why
come
do you
across
wear a
my purview in
kraken?
the last 2 days as well.
Like, what turns you on about a kraken hat?
What about tentacles? What about tentacles aren't, a turn on?
Totally tentacles.
It's a
tentacles?
You've been
Hard to
watching
turn on.
too much
What kind of a
Japanese
freak
anime.
are you, Brent?
Let's talk about tentacles.
Talk about
Let's
his
talk
bathing
about
in the
tentacles.
aquarium.
Oh, let's
Hanging
talk
out
about
with the
tentacles.
octopus.
But did you see the movie about the octopus? It's out now. Don't tell me
Yeah,
nobody saw this movie about
The
the
movie
next
about
porno?
the octopus.
Oh my God! How can we talk about pop culture without talking about the octopus?
We don't
Was
know
this-
anything about pop culture.
Wait,
What
was
is
this-
pop culture?
Was this the octopus that attacked the guy?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
The guy who attacked the other guy.
It got
Yeah.
friendly with him. He
Yeah, it
like-
got
Not
friendly with
friendly with him.
he was
Yeah.
straight eating him.
I have no idea what we're
That's
talking about.
freaking amazing.
I
Why don't
watched
you-
Clash of the Titans the other day. It had a kraken in it.
It
Yeah,
did.
but not the no.
Not
Why
the
don't
hat.
you-
It wasn't a hat
octopus
kraken.
hat?
I haven't seen the octopus movie, but I do know what you're talking about because kind of I've got an octopus tentacle.
Yeah. You watched the
He's got an
uncut
oct-
version. The
He's got
director's
tentacle
cut,
fetishes, apparently.
with the
Yeah.
erotic scenes put back in by the
Who
director.
knew?
There you go. That's what gets revealed on these shows.
Yeah,
Is
it's
this
one of
called
those
the
things.
Octopus Teacher? Is that the name of it?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
it.
Oh, you just Googled it. Thank you. The
So it's a
octopus-
documentary. Okay, gotcha.
It's a
But
documentary. Yeah.
it's such a great documentary because you all are going to learn. Well, not him because he's in Clearwater and he's been to the aquarium. But the rest of you in Oregon, I know don't know squat about the octopus. Do you? Ah,
I don't.
It has friends and it has a good job and forget what
Well,
else I know.
They have a rubbery
Just-
texture.
Just
Can
to
you
be
eat
the octopus guy on the show, the largest octopus is actually in the Pacific Northwest. Those are where the really big octopus are, up in the Puget Sound, which is north of Portland. But that's where the big
those
octopus are.
octopi.
Those octopi are big. Those are the ones you see, that they usually have in the aquarium. That like the big ones.
They're
Those
like
come
Kraken
from-
level. Kraken
Yeah,
level.
Kraken levels. Those are the big
Kraken
ones. Down,
level octopus.
yeah, down here in the tropical waters, they're much smaller. And then on
All I know about-
Australia, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say all I know about octopus is it goes good in paella. That's what I know about
Octopus is
octopus.
great in paella.
It's good sushi
Yeah.
too, right?
It's
It's
not the best
okay.
sushi. It's a
No.
little too much.
Conversation has just diminished down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
It's good for putting on your feet if you want to climb up a building too. Anyway,
I wouldn't
Yes.
recommend it.
yeah, it would probably slippery. Fall down.
So I also read an article years ago that some manufacturers realize the psychological thing where like bigger women, plus size women, they make their sizes, they kind of fudge it. So
Yes.
a woman who say size 12, or is that big for a woman? Is that a bigger size?
I love you guys are so smart.
They actually say it's a 10.
They
so
are.
These women
I'm
can go
not.
around
I don't really
saying,
know what you're talking
oh,
about.
I wear a size 10, even though
Right.
they're 12 by anyone else's standards, and they know this. So those women like that manufacturer because they get
Right.
to be a size 10 in their head.
That is the oldest chick in the book. I worked for one high fashion client and I was a size 6 for her. Her size 6 was really a size 10. But what I started to tell you
That's a
about
big
H&M before he interrupted me, H&M, I'm a 12 in their jeans. But their 12 jeans are really an 8. So what did we all learn from today?
I still don't know what the numbers
dumb.
mean. But what do those numbers mean anyway? What is 8 and 12 and 2 and 5
These
and
are women's sizes. Wait, don't you know anything about women?
This is like the metric system, right?
Yeah.
My wife will tell you, yes, I don't know anything about women.
Let's hear it for your
And
wife.
he has no bananas.
Today.
Although she
We
was
have-
really appreciative of my T-shirt today for some weird reason.
Do you have any writing on your t-shirt or it's just like a black?
It's just plain black. I got a pocket. That's pretty.
Oh, you
much
got
got
a
a
pocket?
pocket.
Oh, wait, no, you and I need to talk. My husband
Okay.
will only wear black t-shirts with pockets. We can't find them anywhere now. They're nowhere. Where? Who? Oh God! if you were here,
I
would
get
be
my
illegal.
clothing from Casual Male XL because I am a large man, and they have
Wait,
lots
what's
of
it-
they have a
what's it
huge
called?
T-shirt selection. It's the national chain is actually called DXL. Casual Male's like a division of it.
Matt, you're a charming chub.
I'm not chub, Greg. I'm gigantic.
You're not gigantic.
I'm a large. You only see me from the shoulders up.
Gigantor.
I'm quite
Okay, so wait. I need
curvy.
information.
Stand up.
from below.
Said the Beastie Boys. If I Google DXL, I'll find a t-shirt for him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, is he an oversized gentleman?
Yeah, he not hugely oversized, but he
Okay.
likes them to fit big and sloppy, and he likes the pocket. You can't find the pocket. You have
Yeah,
to.
they have sizes that range from like 2XL to like 8XL.
Wow.
Can we
And
talk a
there's
minute
lots
about
of
big and
pockets.
sloppy just as an option in a lot of
Yeah,
different
yeah.
things?
I think it's good for
I
a
love
sandwich.
big and sloppy. Sandwiches, big and sloppy sandwiches are good. Oh man,
That's
big
why
and
you
sloppy
like the
shirts.
Beastie Boys, because it's big and sloppy. They were
They were kind of small and sloppy, but
You know,
sloppy was
half of our
definitely-
client is being ignored though. We haven't even gotten into the whole body hair section of the.
oh, the body
Oh,
hair.
fine.
Yeah, go for it.
So here's a
You talk
question:
a little bit-
Why do you think that people are more comfortable with male body hair than with female body hair?
Oh, that's a really easy one because that's how it's always been. We would have to go back to no, here's the deal, right? Let's go back to the cave times.
Okay, cave times. Let's do
Women
it.
had body hair then. It was totally acceptable.
Yeah.
But as society started to change, now I'm going back thousands of years, post-dinosaur, post-ice age, right? When,
Right.
I would hope so. Yes. Post
as
dinosaur.
people started to develop somewhere along the way, it became acceptable for men to have body hair, maybe because it defined them, as the bear who could take care of things. And I'm going back thousands of years, but the women, who were the ones having babies, they had to keep them more demure, more polished. So they thought.
But why? Why did they have to keep them more demure and more polished? How did that change?
I think
I'm
'cause
very
they-
happy that you're an anthropology student, so you're kind of perfect for this.
Okay.
But
Because
or
they
at
were
least-
birthing the babies, they were, no
Birthing the
matter
babies.
what, they were going to have to be taken care of because they were mother,
yeah.
right?
But why does that?
I-
Why does that equate to removing hair from your body?
I just think that honestly, women are used to men being disgusting, so men can just go more and more disgusting, and women will just put up with it. Whereas guys,
Wow.
I think, have been more jerky about it and said, that underarm hair is really kind of gross. But girls put up with it. I think girls are more tolerant. That's why boys have body hair and girls don't.
Well,
But wait,
girls-
it depends which time you're talking about. As you start to go into the Industrial Revolution or the more modern world,
Yeah.
women, when they started to wear makeup, they didn't want to have, hair on their bodies a lot of the time. All right. But I am an anthropology major. So let's get back to that. There are, tribal areas in this world where for a female to have hair on their body is a very beautiful thing. So you can't talk about body hair without talking about which part of the world you're being specific about.
I'm sad about the fact that nasal hair doesn't grow enough so you can braid it.
My husband
Does that bother you?
It does.
Are you sad about that?
I think you need to have your nasal hair should grow long enough to make a scarf from it at least.
I just really was upset when my ears started growing hair. That was the part that I just went. Yeah,
so
I would
y'all clip that stuff out, that little clipper. Do y'all go in your nose and around your ears?
Yeah, I got the little thing.
I have weird ear hair, so I don't have it growing like in tufts like most guys do who get older.
Yeah, it grows in tufts.
I have it growing amongst the creases of my ear. Like the fold of the ear. It's very bizarre, and it's very hard to get to.
Yeah, mine all grows around the outside rim, so like I could shave and then and it's gone.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I was getting my hair cut, and the lady, very nice young girl, said, "Would you like me to take care of your ears?" And I'm like, "Oh God."
Does that mean I need new ones?
Yeah. What the fuck is what? How wrong has my life gotten that the attractive young girl, is asking me if it's okay if she shaves my ears?
So what was your answer?
Of course.
I said, "Oh yeah, please take care of that."
Of course.
Yeah.
It's like when they ask me about my eyebrows, and I'm like, "Is there something wrong with my eyebrows?" I'm like, "I guess there is." Like, do what you got to do. I don't care.
Whatever.
The thing that always confused me about body hair was like getting back to how you were talking about back in cave times. I just think men had more hair than women, so it became a more masculine trait. So if women wanted to feel feminine, they're like, okay, hairy is more masculine. I don't be masculine. But I find it strange since I got hairy, because I'm hairy all over, is that almost every girl I know.
Sharing that with us.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
This is definitely one of our more pleasant episodes. For people
we
with
don't want to
really hit
sensitive
rock
stomachs.
bottom here.
No, but what
Welcome
always
to
was
our
a
show.
quandary, what always was a quandary to me, it seems like every girl I know does not like body hair on men. And to me, it seems like, well, I thought that was masculine. Like men have body hair, chest hair, but no women I know like that shit. They don't like it.
Really? I disagree. I think
Really?
it looks great. Yeah.
Okay, you're
Just-
rare
Yeah.
example.
Why would you want somebody like smooth like the way you were? It defines.
That's what I thought. That's what I always
really,
wondered.
it's beautiful. Body hair is beautiful. Let's celebrate it. Yay.
Yeah.
Unless
I'm
you
taking
want to
my
like
shirt
date a
off.
baby, I guess.
What about a baby?
I said unless you're like into dating babies, that's probably why you don't
Why
want
did you
baby
bring that up?
body
That's
hair.
like weird, right?
It is incredibly
body
weird.
hair is beautiful,
Oh, and Matt's gonna bust my chops about saying retard. He's talking about dating babies. So let's just put that in context.
No babies will be offended by these comments.
But
I
no
hope not.
no retards will be offended by these comments either.
Oh my God, you guys are just so politically incorrect. That's you all.
Because we're
Brendan
old.
definitely skirts that line on a frequent
He
basis.
does. He's like that fine line.
Fine line, yeah. It's
there's
a
no
really
fine
fat
line with
one. It's
Brendan.
a big line. Yeah.
He like stomps on it, like
It's big and
walks
sloppy,
all
that
over it.
line.
I would say other things, but my Northwest liberal friends would be really shocked. So I
Oh,
try
I'm
to keep
totally
it together.
sure that they would.
Yeah.
I don't know that we would be shocked. We would just be, sympathetic to those out there that you were basically breaching protocol with, breaching societal standards with.
New
That is all.
societal standards. But let's go back to body hair for a second. As an Irish, genetically Irish American,
Octopus-American.
Octopus-American, I identify as a squid, but whatever. We're not gonna get into that. But the point is, I don't have a lot of body hair. I was one of these guys that was just,
Yeah, you don't. I'm like looking at your arms. Like the other two are really hairy. You don't have a lot. But that's
No.
the Irish thing.
Yeah, this took everything I had to try to get this Billy Goat bullshit I have on my chin. So I'm thankful for the women who, didn't. I take off my shirt. And they're like, "Oh my God, you're like a girl." That was a big plus for me because I didn't have that. And now the interesting thing was in the 80s, it was making that switch. Like 70s, hairy men was cool.
Yeah.
80s was not that way.
Metrosexual in the 80s.
Yeah, 80s was my time. and I'm really happy about that. Now it seems like hairy guy's back. That's my.
I think Greg's back is hairy.
It is.
Yeah.
You can
I'm
wax it. Why don't you wax? Have you ever had your back waxed?
I don't want to. I don't care.
Yeah, Greg doesn't date. Greg is asexual.
Oh,
I mean,
he's just like,
I'm
you don't
done
even
with
go out
dating.
with anybody.
Yeah, he is part of the LGBTQA part of the
He's the
alphabet.
A,
He's
asexual.
the A, exactly.
He's
I'm
the
the
asexual
asshole.
on your
Wait a minute.
show.
There is no A in. I mean, they have enough letters. They didn't
No,
steal the A.
they've been
They keep
added.
adding
They've
them.
added an I and an A. Brendan.
there's
You
an
need to get
A
on top of things.
Or a plus.
What the fuck?
You know, you
What
can
the
say-
fuck
I?
is? What is the I?
The I is intersexual.
What does
What
that
does
even
that
mean?
mean?
That's a different client. We'll deal with that another
But
day.
that's a whole other show. But
Intersexual.
this is great that you know all of this and you can enlighten the other two.
They
Yeah,
don't want to be
please.
enlightened, though.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'll. You know.
That's why
like,
Brendan's in Florida, so he doesn't have to like change as a human being.
Right?
Well,
You can-
well, when I was growing up, if you called someone a queer, that was an insult. Now it's a term of like that's cool.
Yeah.
Gay was okay. Gay was like, oh, he's gay. That's fine. You never said fag, and I'm glad they didn't reincorporate that back in somehow. But I always thought it was weird. Like queer came back. Like queer was kind of
because the younger generation identifies, this is something I know a lot about.
Let's talk
They
about it.
identify with that terminology. It's all terminology. And
Well, I've
isn't
heard
it
Wendy
great?
use the term fag in an interview. She called herself a fag hag.
I did.
Oh.
Listen, no, I can't believe you brought this up. I got called out I was put in Facebook jail.
Oh,
Okay. With a gay friend of mine, a drag friend, we were talking about something and she said to me, you would be great in this show. They had a fag hag reporter. And I said to her, oh yeah, I am perfect. Everyone tells me I'm a fag hag, right? I write this on Facebook. The next thing I know, I'm in Facebook jail for 24 hours for using hate speech.
hate speech, right?
And you know what?
Which is why
I
this won't be in the
contested
show notes.
I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, I contested it. I'm like, I'm part of that world. I can use this speech whenever I want. We all talk this way. And some idiot robot. Doesn't that piss you off? It was a robot that
Oh,
called it out. And I contested it and they said it was hate speech. And
That
was-
actually on TikTok, we have a TikTok channel, and one of our show notes episodes got suspended for hate speech.
what did you
Because
say?
I was just talking about it was just notes from the show when we were talking about QAnon. And so somebody considered whatever it was hate speech, whatever was in those show notes. And
'cause you
I'm
brought
like
up
scouring it going, where is the hate speech in this? I couldn't figure it out. I
Yeah, but-
contested it and I still lost and they still took it. But it's up on Instagram and it's on Facebook. So
Oh, it is. Oh, I'd
Yeah.
like to. I would totally look for that show. How will
well,
I
you
know
can just
what-
look on our website under that episode. All I do on TikTok is I read the synopses, the show notes for each little TikTok video. And that's
I think
all
I
that it
remember-
was.
I remember that episode, and you were going on about like Obama showing his birth certificate for a while. You remember that one?
Was I doing that?
I think maybe that was why.
I
Oh.
hunted him down for his Kenya birth certificate to actually confirm that he was born in Kenya. Is that what I did? No, it had nothing to do with that. But
My memory's a little foggy.
yeah, your head is a little foggy.
And that's
but-
why you're here today.
Light another joint.
Yeah,
Yes.
why not? Go for it. Light it
Except
up.
Greg doesn't smoke pot. He prefers his Holocaust.
Wait, I'm going to hold it.
Is it good? You inhaled.
That's some good shit.
All right.
Good tobacco. You're smoking menthols these days too, right?
Yeah.
He does like camel menthols.
Aren't those going to be outlawed pretty soon? I thought I saw something about them outlawing menthols, which
They
I'm all
should have.
for.
They were supposed to be outlawed when they outlawed flavored cigarettes, but somehow menthol
Greg,
escaped.
why
the
don't
wrath.
you roll your own? I want to know why you don't roll your own.
Yeah,
I'm
it'd be
lazy.
cheaper.
I'm way too
You're
lazy.
the one who's like
It's just
Mr.
lazy.
Low Budget. Why aren't you rolling your own cigarettes? You'd save a
I'm
lot more
lazier.
money.
I'm more lazy than I am cheap.
All right, well,
And that's another T-shirt. I'm more lazy than I am cheap.
I swear to you, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to get off the topic of body hair. Oops, we did.
Oh, body hair. Back to body
strange
hair.
how we get off topic. I don't know how that happens.
I don't know
We're
how
so
that happens.
focused.
Okay, here's the last one on body hair. Like
Please.
young men like to shave it all down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was, and I just I'm like, really? That first of all,
Once
that
in my
seems-
youth, I shaved down there, and I vowed never, ever again would that happen.
Hey, everybody does weird shit at least once when you're
I
young.
did it,
I
too.
get it. I did it.
And it grew back, and I went, "Oh, this is incredibly uncomfortable." I'm like,
Right,
"There's no
but-
reason for me to do this again."
It's itchy
But
as hell.
I was
Yes.
literally having a conversation with a millennial kid, and he was telling me about, how he's got to keep it together down there and what he does. And he uses different lotions and, to razor burns. And I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with you? Is that a predeterminate in terms of dating nowadays? Like girls are like, oh, wow. No, I mean,
I think it is.
Is it? That's my
I know.
question. I don't know.
Or maybe that's just what they think it is. I mean, I think people will tolerate most things if they
No,
like
but
the
you
person.
guys in that generation, it's part of the whole metrosexual thing. So yeah, there are guys doing that. That's just
But
I
I know
remember
some
a
young
girl I
guys
knew
who
in
tell me-
college. She didn't shave her legs because her hair was very, very fine, and she was blonde. And there was one guy she dated, found out she had leg hair, and he broke it off with her just for that.
Well, that guy's an idiot.
Oh.
I mean, that's just
I
weird.
know a guy who works with lots of young guys, so he gets to hear like the locker room talk. And apparently, almost all women are shaving like porn stars now. They don't have any pubes at all. They're like, when we were kids and we watched porn, and there was all the women were shaved, and it was weird because
How old were you, Greg? You're saying as kids. You're talking about as like a 5-year-old? What the fuck are you
Yeah,
talking
my
about?
parents were very liberal. They were very
Like,
open. No,
Handing you
I met a
Screw magazine
teenager.
at 6
When you
years
first
old.
saw porn in the 80s, most women had some hair, but then they started doing the shave thing, and it was only in porn. Apparently, all young women now feel the need that they have to have
But
that.
hold on, Greg, they're not shaving. It's bikini waxes. Everybody gets bikini waxes. That's
Whatever it is, they ain't got no hair down there.
wax.
They ain't got no hair down
They got
there.
no hair down there. It's,
Oh, hair as far as the eye could see.
it's really changed. It's
It's
very
How do you know
Okay.
that all of them are like that, Greg? You're making a
No,
massive
a lot.
generality.
Apparently, a lot of women are like that now. Young women.
All right,
are.
a lot I'm
You
willing to
have to have people
concede.
call
All
in.
I'm not conceding.
But I didn't know one when I was growing up. I never got a girl's clothes off and was like, "Whoa, she's shaved like a porn star." That never happened.
So is that
Oh.
why you're asexual now?
Yeah, the hair.
Yeah, the hair. That was it. That
It
was the
creeped me
deciding
out.
factor.
That and
They
the
got
fact
him
that he wears
too
shoelaces
much.
on his glasses too.
I just, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like that makes the person seem like a child.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
an odd thing
I
to me.
agree.
I
It's a
personally don't
little-
care one way
it's
or
a-
the other. So
It's a little pedo,
creepy.
just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought there was
mean,
a purpose to body hair, like why bodies are designed to have it. So there's some use for it. The thing I could never figure out is why armpits stink. That's the one I never really understood. It's like
Because
why?
you don't use deodorant.
Right, I know, but I'm saying, what's the purpose of it? Why is it in the design of our bodies that your
Oh, I know
armpits
the
stink?
answer. I know the answer to that.
Okay.
Back in the caveman, we're going back to the caveman days.
Yes, we
again.
would have to.
It was scent, and even to this day, animal scents. It's used to repel the enemy. That's what it is.
So
But would
our
it really-
our armpit stink is designed to repel.
Back in those days, I'm talking about when we weren't fully upright. When we were a little Neanderthal, kind of like the way the three of you are now.
Well, at least she's complimenting us.
Cha cha cha. No, but you know what?
She got a dance out of it too.
You know
There
what
you
I'm
go.
saying, right? It was used as a repellent, in the same way that animals will give off an odor, or what is that? The octopus gave off
Like a skunk. A skunk.
Did
and-
you just call it an
and-
octopus?
octopus.
They said
An
octopus.
octopus
No,
is
that
something
breaks
completely
its stuff.
different.
That's it, octopus.
I gotta say, Wendy, if I didn't shower for a year and I didn't use deodorant, would a bear not eat me because of that? The bear would
Nobody's
actually say,
coming near
"Woo!"
you.
You
Let's
should
go.
test that out, Greg.
Yeah,
can eat
I think
that.
the bear
It might
would
be like a
walk
good. That
the hell
might be a
away.
good marinade for a bear, Greg.
Ooh, bear. Yeah.
I don't know if your
Carefully
armpit
aged.
stench. I don't know if your armpit stench is enough to make a creature not want to eat you. I don't see
You'll
it
have to
happening.
try it.
Test
Live
it
on
out.
the edge. Take a risk.
Go
No, that's
moo moo and
Brendan.
bears.
Brendan likes to do shit like that. I'm
Read
not
my
gonna go
book. It
hang
talks
out with
about
bears.
risk.
Now, Wendy,
Read that book.
we're in the last couple of minutes, and I know there were some things that you wanted
Last
to get
leg
promoted
here,
before.
aren't we? Matt?
Because Wendy really has to go pretty soon. So Wendy, why don't you get some things promoted that you want to let everybody know about, where they can
So
find
it's
you and
really easy peasy. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. On my YouTube channel, you'll find my 3 shows. My YouTube channel is Wendy Stuart TV. Very easy. My show, Pandemic Cooking with Wendy, started March 13th. They shut New York down on March 12th. And I realized everything that I earned my living doing had come to a crashing halt. I'm a comedian. I'm an MC. I'm a model. I'm an actress. I make films. Every single thing I do, I could no longer do because they shut down every stage, every theater.
She talks about the history of body hair people.
Right, I was left with my own body hair to wilt in my New York apartment. So March 13th, I looked at my husband and I said, we have to do something. And he's a shooter. I'm a performer. I said, we'll start a cooking show. And he said to me, you don't cook. And I said, exactly. It's called Pandemic Cooking with Wendy. We just today put up episode 114. That is correct.
You could have went back to voodoo during the pandemic.
100. No, you can't earn a living doing that, but you can certainly take out your enemies. And yes, I have done that. So episode 114.
That's going to be a new show.
Cooking with Wendy. And I actually cook on the show. I cook with other people. The show is very funny. It was really designed to help people get through the pandemic because a lot of people in New York lost their shit because all of us got COVID. And yes, I had COVID. Everyone I knew. It was really bad in New York. And that was one of the main reasons I came up with the show. Because one of the things I can do, I can make people laugh. And I did. And then in December, our restaurants were shut down. I was sitting outside freezing on a 30-degree day at a friend's restaurant. And I thought I need to get another show out there. So I came up with a show where I featured well-known musicians, celebrities. That's called If These Walls Could Talk. We talk the talk. We talk the walk, we spill the tea, we give the dish. We just don't talk about people being famous. We want to know what's going on in your life. And it's great. We have fun. We have a good time. If I could jump through the screen and have a beer with my guests on there, I would, just like I would with the three of you. Maybe. No, I definitely would.
We would have beer and hard liquor with you.
Right, a beer and hard liquor with the three of you. And then the show I came up with this summer is called Diversity Talk, and it addresses every topic you could think of in the LGBTQ community. And again, the beauty of live streaming, I've had people on all over the country, from two gay dads, what they went through to adopt their two boys, to a reverend that is a drag. She does her sermons in drag, which are really great to try and bring people back to religion that think, they don't want any part of religion anymore, to doctors that specialize in reassignment surgery. When a person finally gets to live their truth and the surgery they go through. There is no topic we haven't talked about, from political people. We have a great time on that show too. All of my shows, all three of them, are about having a great time, getting information out there, and just, walking the walk, talking the talk, and inspiring you to be the best person you can be.
Greg,
she's talking to you, Greg. I'm so inspired. I just subscribed.
I love you to death. Thank you. Thank you so much. That is way cool.
I love cooking shows. Cooking YouTube shows is like my weird.
And I'm entertaining. We make food. I'm entertaining. I do it with other people. I do it by myself. So yeah, my shows are out there. They're now moving into some big platforms, which I'm very excited about. And I've got my films coming up. We're working on a film called Working Dogs, a love story that's about people that have dogs that they completely depend on, therapy dogs, service dogs. And through the pandemic, people got pandemic puppies that made everything better for them when they felt like they've completely lost control. You know what, you guys, everything we do from this point on, we have to consider what we've been through. This was not a cakewalk, and the world is a different place. And we have to get out there and say, hey, how am I going to do my thing now?
I agree.
How am I going to do my thing? I don't even know. I got to still figure out what my thing is.
You have to use beads and trinkets if you want to get your thing
there
going.
You go. A little voodoo never hurt anybody. And I hate calling it that. It's really traditional medicine, but that never hurt anybody either. I'm not above taking a little doll, sticking a couple of pins in, not above it.
No, let's do it.
Calling it a day.
Well, I want to thank Wendy Stuart Kaplan, Wendy Stuart, Wendy Wood, whatever,
It's all good.
abbreviation we want to do for Wendy. You've been an absolute blast. We've truly enjoyed having you
I'm
on.
having a great time with you. I want to go out for a beer or hard liquor with you, and that's the only frustrating thing. That, like, I'm
I'll
going
be
to
in New
have
York at
Oregon or
Christmas
Florida.
time.
Well, we're going to be doing a live show around the third week of June to celebrate our anniversary of doing the podcast. So, maybe you can pop back on and we'll virtually drink together or something.
I would, you know what? That is a deal. You invite me. I'm going to show up with alcohol and anything else you want me to show. No, we'll do it like virtually. It'll be great. I want to celebrate you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. That's good news.
Well,
Well, I want to thank
next
you
time
once
you're
again.
in Florida, let me know.
Oh, you know what? I am the girl that will let you know. That is
Good.
God's son is
Actually,
true.
I'll be in New
Brendan's
York
going to
at
be in New
Christmas
York
time.
in a couple of weeks too.
Who's going to be in New York?
Brendan is.
Yeah, Long Island. Yeah.
Brendan, just definitely hit me up. We'll go get a drink.
Okay. Sure.
You're gonna you have to drag Eileen Shapiro to that meeting too, Wendy.
I'll drag.
I adore her. She is so fabulous. You can't even imagine. She's amazing. She's an inspiration.
All right. Well, I know you got to go in like a minute, so I want to thank you very much, Wendy, for coming on and joining us and helping us with our client dress sizes and body hair. It's been great hearing from you and everybody. This is, as you know, the law offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker.
You've left the offices of Quibble, Squabble, and Bicker. It's over. It's over. It's time for you to go home. It's over. It's over. Go away now.